I'm looking at my shelf right now, and there are like over 30 unopened, unwatched movies on my shelf, and I've spent hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars on physical media this year alone, and that's got to change in 2026. So here are my 5 physical media resolutions for 2026, and if you're a collector, you're going to need to watch these too, so let's dive in. But there have been plenty of releases this year that I've bought that have been blind buys, that have been things that I'm buying without looking at reviews or even watching the movie first. And a lot of that has to do with just kind of the fun of adding to your collection and everything. But I think in 2026, I'm going to cut down on those blind buys and really only do the ones that I think will be really, really integral to my own collection. You know, there's this whole thing on YouTube and with physical media collecting that your collection, it's, you know, the bigger it is, the better it looks behind you in your videos, the better, you know, you look as an authority on the thing. If you have 4,000 movies or whatever, you know, I've said this a lot, but your collection is your collection. It's a personal thing. It's a curated collection. Obviously, there are a lot of us out there that do this because they like having the preservation aspect of it and all of that, but at the end of the day, there's only so much space you have. There's only so much space I have in my current office with my collection. And so this shelf behind me is already practically full, which means I'm going to have to get another shelf one of these days just for more releases. So I think going through and curating even further is another goal of mine heading into 2026 for physical media collecting, just because there's so much of it and there's only so much time to watch all of these movies throughout the year. Number 2, I'm just going to say it right here. I'm going to be focusing on specific boutique labels that I enjoy. I already do that to a degree. I love Vinegar Syndrome. I love Shout Factory. I love Arrow Video, Kino Lorber, all of that. But what I'm really talking about here with this point is the studio titles that are going to be cheaper when they come out eventually. Like, there's a lot of this with, you know, Dogma or with the Night of the Living Dead 4K Steelbook that came out, where there's this FOMO aspect. And that's really the biggest part of this point, is not buying into that FOMO just because something might go out of print, or you think it's going out of print, or it is going out of print. Because a lot of the time, it's going to go out of print, but it'll come back in print, or there's these shortages, these delays with 4K discs, especially these days, where if you just wait, you know, and you did end up spending over $100 plus or whatever on the Night of the Living Dead 4K, well, Orbit DVD just got a bunch of them in like a week ago. It just proves that a lot of this stuff is people driving interest in these releases. Yes, if you love that movie, if you love Night of the Living Dead, the remake that Tom Savini did, sure, buy it. Buy it right when it comes out, because you're going to enjoy it. But if it's just something that you can do without, or that you're not super interested in, or even I'm not super interested in, I'm not going to be just splurging on it because, oh, well, somebody said it's going to be rare and out of print. For other people out there, other movies, I didn't need to do it. Like, there was the Umbrella edition of Dogma. I didn't buy that one because I didn't really want the super deluxe packaging of it, or Freaked from Umbrella Entertainment. I didn't buy that as well because I don't really... The movie doesn't... It's a good movie, I've seen it before, but it's not really my favorite thing, and for other people it is. So if you love that, go for it. If you don't, you don't need to get it just because other people are saying you need to get it. Number 3, and I think this might be the most important of the points, is I'm going to prioritize the watch list of actually getting through some of these things, because like the previous haul, whatever you want to say, video that I did from Vinegar Syndrome, obviously I got a movie like The Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 that I really love, I really enjoy, that's great. But I also got a movie like Nightmare Sisters, which I haven't seen before, which I'm going to have to put this on a list and get through the list and watch more of my gosh damn movies. Because at the end of the day, we own these movies to watch them. We don't own them to just have them sit on our shelf and look pretty. I know there are some people out there that's blasphemous too. I know there are other people out there that are going, duh, you watch your movies, don't you, dum-dum? Well, yeah, but life gets in the way sometimes. People are busy, there's jobs, there's family, there's other entertainment aspects. I love sports, video games, movies, concerts, whatever. So you can't get to watching a movie every single day, but there are ways that you can get through that watch list like I did before, where I had that popcorn bucket filled with little pieces of paper with the movies written on them. I'm probably going to do that again, no matter how much of a pain in the ass it was doing it the first time. Go through, make a Letterboxd account or something like that, and keep track of the movies that you own, and look at the percentage of them that you've watched and that you haven't watched, and try to raise that percentage that you have watched, because, like I said, that's what we're here to do. We're here to watch movies and to enjoy them. You can enjoy the special features, the physical packaging, the goodies, whatever else, but at the end of the day, we're here to get the movie and pop it in our player and watch it. 4, which I would say is probably the second most important point here, maybe the first most important, depending on who you ask, is to prioritize quality over quantity. So, what does this mean? Because there are examples that I've had this year that I can go into next year. I've long said it was a funny point that I owned like 6 copies of Halloween at one point on Blu-ray or 4K or whatever, DVD. You don't need to own 6 copies of Halloween. There are very few releases out there that don't port over the extras from a previous generation to the new generation. The biggest example I can think of is The Thing. I owned the old Thing Universal Blu-ray that had the uncensored commentary between John Carpenter and Kurt Russell. That's a reason to own an older release. But a lot of those extras that they ported over to a release for Blu-ray or 4K or the Shout Factory version or whatever, they've moved across generations, and you don't need to own that many copies of a certain movie. The biggest example I thought of this year was Second Sight put out an excellent, wonderful, amazing box set of Reanimator on 4K. Well, Ignite Films did it first. I got their release first, and that means I'm not going to feel bad about not owning the Giganto box set of Reanimator, no matter how cool it looks. And it does look cool. I will give people that own that release that. It does look very cool. But at the end of the day, if there are different extras or different whatevers, as long as the picture quality, the transfer, everything is the same, or at least similar, I don't feel the need to own 2 versions of the same thing. Another one would be Hard Boiled. I own, and I went through an Odyssey, which you can watch one of my videos about that, to get that 4K. And Arrow Video is putting it out, and it's actually a cheaper release than the Shout Factory version, but I'm not going to be getting the Arrow Video version of it, because no matter if there are extras that are a little bit different or anything like that, I already have the movie. I already have a wonderful 4K of the movie. I already have a beautiful, stunning transfer of the movie. I don't need 2 copies of it just because there are different extras, an essay booklet or whatever. So that's really what I'm talking about here with prioritizing quality over quantity. There are other things like that with like studio releases where I'm just going to wait on a movie if it's, you know, the studio crapping out a 4K with no extras or anything like that, because at some point either it'll be way cheaper or somebody will do a boutique label release of it. So that's really what it is with this one. So the 5th point, it kind of ties all of them together, and that is what I like to call the preservation over purchase resolution. And that means keeping track of your collection, which I've done part 1 of that, where I sorted my collection into alphabetical and sort of boutique labels of ones that I have a lot of. I used to have an Arrow Video section, a Shout Factory section, and a Vinegar Syndrome section, and then just a general purpose whatever section of everything else. And now I only have Arrow, or Shout Factory, Vinegar Syndrome, and general purpose for the rest of the movies in my collection. But what this means is keeping your collection organized and looking nice, dusting it, making sure that the room that it's in is not, you know, horribly hot, horribly cold, whatever, that the temperature is kind of controlled. Disc rot issues are overblown. It's not really a thing, especially on Blu-rays and 4Ks. Yes, it does happen. For people out there that are going to comment and say, oh, well, there are disc rot issues. Yes, it does happen, but these things are designed to last a long time. DVDs that are from the 90s still work today. CDs from the 80s still work today. So really what it is about keeping track of your physical media collection and using an app to catalog your movies and basically just cataloging things and making things look nice, because at the end of the day, a collection is a collection because it's there to display it, it's there to love it, to enjoy it, to respect it. And I know there's a lot of you out there that do love and respect your collections, but I've fallen in this trap where, like, right now I have a pile of movies sitting on the ground that haven't been put into the collection yet, and I'm kind of putting it off because I'm lazy. 2026, we're not going to put that off. We're going to film the video that we did where we showed off all of the movies for the holiday haul, and then we're going to put it back into the collection so that it can be there and we can enjoy it, and so that we won't double dip like I did with that video. But it makes a low-cost, sort of immediate thing that you can do. You can do this. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to sign up for anything unless you're signing up for Letterboxd, which is free. But you don't need to do anything other than cataloging your collection, making sure it looks nice, dusting it every once in a while, and enjoying it, respecting it, loving it. And at the end of the day, there's plenty of negative stuff out there about physical media, especially going into 2026. Netflix buying Warner Brothers, 4K discs going out of print way too fast. All this kind of stuff that really is kind of putting a damper on the hobby. And there's other people out there. There's plenty of YouTubers out there that are only negative about the hobby, which makes no sense to me why you have the things in your collection, why you're here making these videos, if all you're going to do is say about the problem with physical media, the problem with 4K collections, and if you're watching out there, you know who you are. But this hobby is here because we love it. This hobby is here. I'm here talking to you. You're here watching me, leaving comments, doing whatever, because we both love collecting and we love physical media. And at the end of the day, that's the secret sixth resolution here, is loving the hobby more, even through some of the darkest times. And that's really what I've been through 2025, that I'm going to continue into 2026 is, let's face it, folks, this year has been hell. It sucked. It's been awful for me personally, but I kept that sort of fire alive. I kept that sort of love alive. And so I hope that you out there keep that love going into 2026, and that it's a great year for you and I both with physical media. With these tips and these resolutions heading into 2026, now that we've had a banner year in 2025 for great physical media releases, these will only make your collection and my collection all the better heading into 2026. So have a happy new year, enjoy your physical media, and let's head into 2026 in the best way possible.